In primetime news this evening, grisly discovery in St. Elizabeth after frantic search for missing woman.
Former Prime Minister issues rallying call to government to protect Jamaicans' interests amid pressure from the United States.
And one of the country's largest unions signs wage deal with the government. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Lug.
And I'm Kalisha Williams. Now with a preview of what's to come in the business news, here's Dwayne Anderson.
Thank you, Kalisha. So some of the world's major oil companies are benefiting from the war by the USA on Iran. 8 of these companies have posted mega profits. I'll tell you all about that later in the business news.
Very interesting there. And Spencer Darlington is here to give us a preview of what's coming up in sports. Spencer.
Thank you, Anthony. Well, the West Indies are staring down the barrel after 3 days of the second and final test against Pakistan. We'll give you more details in Primetime Sports later.
Now, before the break, we'll also have the feedback question. And this evening we're asking,
what do you look forward to most during the independence celebrations and why?
You can share comments online, facebook.com/television Jamaica, and post on X at TVJ News Center.
And please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break. Welcome back to Primetime News.
Special welcome to folks on onespotmedia.com and those of you watching on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands.
First up this evening, a missing woman, a beaten partner under police guard and at hospital, and a body found in a nearby river.
It's the making of a true crime novel, but it's a shocking reality that residents of a St. Elizabeth community in Lacovia are trying to come to terms with this evening.
In what seems like another domestic violence gone bad, residents say the accused actually confessed to the killing and dumping his partner's body in the Black River before police rescued him from an angry mob.
Krista Campbell has our story.
I can't believe. Right now, I can't believe.
Something evil has happened in the Barton Wharf community of Lacovia, St. Elizabeth. Or so residents say they were told by the man accused of committing the evil act. That man has been under police guard at hospital since angry residents attacked him after he reportedly told them he had killed his partner, 50-year-old farmer Nicole Brown, better known as Nikki.
We don't have a clue. We want to find out water and put her. Because I say if you came from so far and come and say you will not pass the river, if you go hide him nowhere else. So we feel like saying I water today.
But residents say the accused told them he had killed Nikki and dumped her by the boats in the river near the community. They cornered him and questioned him late Monday night after they did not see Nikki in the community from Monday morning. Police say she was last seen at 10 o'clock Sunday night at her family home where she lived with her 41-year-old partner.
Monday, them a look for him. Monday morning, all them a call the phone a ring out, nothing. But them should make him and left and pack up clothes he left out of the house. If you go nowhere. From them a call the phone, for him phone and the daughter phone, and them a ring out and not get none, then should have hold him there so far and this so. Because when we tell the police, say, care man come make him control where body there. He not do it. Then say two man lick him and mash him up, them have to carry him to hospital.
Since then, residents say they've been combing the river and its surroundings.
We no sleep for all the hours a night we over here hunt. 12 o'clock last night to 1 o'clock where people on the river side there.
I'm just here.
And we in a bush them over here. So over there so we are going to know this morning again. Go circle the whole place, Papa. But we have to find the body.
By Tuesday afternoon, a lone diver continued the search. Police arriving sometime later amidst fears crocodiles might get to the body first.
My belly about me. It is a thing frighten me because I just panic. Me look out and say me can't manage to see body come up.
By late afternoon, the river surrendered her secret.
Find the body down on the water and then do that circle. I can't go right to the spot and see this.
Diver Kevin Vassell says only the lower half of the body was clothed. A team from the Jamaica Defense Force took control of the operation and retrieved the body. As residents try to come to terms with the tragedy, they insist Nikki was a quiet woman and do not know what could have caused the relationship to end this way.
Sunday, we go fishing. And when we up there so fishing, we see him come up there. He all short way. And when he short way, we say, he say, I go look two fish too. We say, yeah man, fishing, we are fishing, say, do I look fish? We never come down till it a dust up. And when we come right here, so, and Malcolm, little son, we see in the boat there, and him come take we cross, carry over. When we come over here, so Dudley said to me Rasta Virgin, say, don't sink the boat, don't sink the peg too far deep. Because he have been here where we don't know about.
Last time I see her out by the school where she worked. That was the last time I see her. Because she's not a person who loves God. It's from her home to her school or sometimes she goes under. She don't go without her sister then. She's not the type of girl go she don't got nobody play. She's a nice cousin to us. And she's a loving cousin. She loves her son. And when they take our life.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
And the police say domestic violence continues to push up murder figures in St. Elizabeth. 19 murders have been recorded in the parish so far this year, compared to 8 for the corresponding period last year.
With over 61% of all those relating to domestic violence. This is another such case, as we want to appeal to the citizens of this parish. Whenever there are issues that there is a domestic violence center in the parish, use the resources. Professional counselors are there, who are quite capable of helping you to go through your challenges instead of resorting to violence.
If something go down, walk out and go and don't take it away life. Don't take it away life. No. Don't take it life. Everybody got to come to it.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for St. Elizabeth Northwestern Andrew Morris has condemned the incident, noting what he knew the deceased personally and she was a supporter of his political party.
Our government will be supporting the domestic violence bill in an effort to ensure that all perpetrators of domestic violence are brought to the books. We're also saying to the community that while we account for the perpetrators, we want to support the victims, the loss of life at this time, and the victims' family and friends who are currently suffering.
To a primetime news update now. The policeman who was found dead at the Maypen police station in Clarendon on Monday evening has been identified. He is Constable Kenroy Pitter from Endeavour, Mile Gully, Manchester. A probe has been launched into the circumstances which led to his death. The police constable was discovered dead, still dressed in his uniform in an office at the rear of the building. His throat has been slashed. It's reported that he had been dead for several hours. Constable Pitter was assigned to the Transport Department.
Former Prime Minister Bruce Golding is urging Jamaica to defend its sovereignty amid what he views as growing pressure from the United States. Mr. Golding addressed the situation as he met with members of the Jamaican diaspora in the USA. Yannick Williams reports.
Putting America first should not mean putting Jamaica in jeopardy.
Those were the words of former Prime Minister Bruce Golding as he addressed patrons at Team Jamaica Bickle's Independence Gala 2026 in Philadelphia. Mr. Golding argued that Jamaica is facing growing external pressure from the United States, saying the country is being forced to comply with U.S. foreign policy decisions. He said Jamaica is operating in an increasingly complex global environment.
What is being done to us is not friendship. Imposing arbitrary tariffs on us when we are struggling to make our goods competitive in a difficult market is not friendship. Dictating to us who we must do business with is not friendship. Forcing us to accept foreign deportees when we are struggling to look after our own people, that is not friendship.
Mr. Golding argued that Jamaica is being encouraged to reduce its ties with countries like China and Cuba, noting China has invested more than US $2.1 billion in Jamaica, while US investment is only a fraction of that. But despite this, he claimed Jamaica is under pressure to push Chinese interests out of the country.
China has become a major investment partner in Jamaica. It has invested in major highways that have significantly improved our transportation and logistics.
He noted the country has faced pressure over its long-standing relationship with Cuba, including the presence of Cuban healthcare professionals in Jamaica.
We have been ordered to send home the Cuban doctors and nurses who have played such a big part in keeping our health services going. We are being forced to contribute to the strangulation of the Cuban people who have helped us in so many ways.
In the meantime, Mr. Golding raised concerns about the U.S. immigration policy, referencing requests for countries in the region to accept third country deportees.
We are required to accept up to 10,000 third country deportees. We are told they will come at a rate of 25 every 2 weeks.
While acknowledging the importance of Jamaica's relationship with the United States, Golding said the country must protect its national interests and make decisions for its people. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
Following months of hostilities, the Ministry of Finance and the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, which represents public sector employees, have finally reached an agreement. The deal was reached this afternoon for the 2025 to 2027 period. Our news center was informed that under the agreement, the government has agreed to pay the workers a lump sum of $80,000 to cover the first year of the contract and 5% in 2026 and 2027. Now, this means that the government has moved off its original position of 2% in year one and 2.5% over the 2026-2027 period. The unions under the umbrella of the JCTU are expected to meet with the board later today to discuss the package. There is optimism that the wage deal will be signed sometime next week. We were told that the parties have agreed to meet again to iron out other outstanding issues, including the vexed issue of duty concession, among other things. The island's civil servants, the Jamaica Teachers Association, Junior Doctors Association, Nurses Association of Jamaica, and the Police Federation had all rejected the government's original offer of 2%. Now, still to come this evening, Jamaica and Ghana outline plans for greater trade. And in business news, world's largest oil companies raking in massive profits amid ongoing war in Iran. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're continuing the news. As Emancipendence celebrations intensify across the island, heightened concerns that the country will not be fully free and independent until the issue of land ownership is addressed. This followed a series of disputes in several parishes where houses have been demolished and people in informal settlements have been displaced. And as we'll hear in this report, the calls are growing louder for the government and private interests to prioritize public consultation before displacing residents.
St. Anne, St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth. At a time when many Jamaicans have been struggling to get access to affordable homes, many homes are being demolished and some have been at risk of demolition in recent times. In some cases, the communities are informal or squatter settlements. Professor of Urban Planning and Public Policy at the University of Technology, UTech, Dr. Carol Archer, says while it is illegal to capture and build on lands, it is important for people to understand why there are so many informal settlements in the country.
The issue of emancipation without addressing the issue of land here in Jamaica.
And so, after 1838, the then former enslaved Africans settled where they could. In the case of St. Thomas, many of the informal settlements are government lands or former sugar lands.
We had 1865, the Morant Bay Rebellion. So what we're seeing in St. Thomas is a direct offshoot of 1865 because the demand was made then for the land to be granted to us of African ancestry, and it was not dead then.
Which is why these people may have been at odds with the Sugar Company of Jamaica in recent times as their homes were being earmarked for demolition. Limited consultation has also been a big issue for the people in these demolition cases.
There is a process where you advise communities, you work with them, because this whole process of relocation, you're disrupting lives and livelihood.
Under the law, people who have been occupying lands undisturbed for 60 years or more have the right to possess the land. But in many cases, it is not until the community is developed that the authorities intervene.
What ought to happen And as I said, it rarely happens, and especially on government lands, where you are served notice. You're served notice by the local authority, the NLA, or any other of the agencies, government agencies, but this rarely happens.
Then, in some cases, our newsroom has been reliably informed that other factors are at play in some of the informal communities for which the local authorities have no control.
In today's market, what we're seeing is introduction of persons who are not sincere. I might call it they're scammers. They're trying to get hard-earned money from individuals.
To mitigate those risks,
ensure that the person you're contacting, who is a realtor or realtor associate, is licensed, is associated with a particular company. You can do that by calling the real estate board or go to the real estate board's website and you can see the person's name, the brokerage they're associated with, their number, and you can make direct contact.
the challenge, though, according to Professor Archer, is that the people who need the houses the most are the ones at risk, and they fall prey to the scams. Again, she stressed that the land issues must be addressed in order for the country to move forward. One suggestion is for communal land trusts to be established in the island, similar to what happens in the United States.
A section of the area where they have settled is portioned off, and it is given in trust to that community, and it is established that because we are taking development here and we don't want to disrupt what is happening here, but as part of regularization, then we can, split the land. But all of this can be negotiated.
From Ghana to Gordon House, Parliament resumed for a special sitting this morning to mark the visit of Ghana's President John Mahama. As you hear in this report, the leaders of both countries are hoping their shared history can build a new trade partnership. Jamila Maitland reports.
Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama says the visit to Jamaica during the Emancipendence holiday isn't just about celebrating the shared cultural experience, but an opportunity to share economic independence.
We should deepen cooperation in agriculture, tourism, maritime transport, renewable energy, digital technology, education, healthcare, and the creative industries. We should encourage greater exchanges amongst our universities. And I'm happy to note that the University of West Indies and my alma mater, the University of Legon, already have a training relationship.
The West African leader, who was speaking during a special sitting of the Parliament Tuesday morning, contends that while history links both countries by force, it can be re-envisioned. The transatlantic slave trade saw millions of Africans being transported to the Caribbean, resting in countries like Jamaica. However, President Mahama says this time around, the leadership of the countries have a choice to create a mutually beneficial, thriving relationship.
The African Continental Free Trade Area, which has its headquarters in Accra, offers unprecedented opportunities for closer commercial relations between Africa and the Caribbean. With a market of more than 1.4 billion people, it provides Jamaican businesses with a gateway to Africa, just as Jamaica can serve as an important bridge for Africa's engagement with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness revealed that consultations are expected to begin to establish a roadmap on how both countries will move forward on trade relations.
Now we must move decisively towards building out the practical architecture that will facilitate stronger institutional partnerships, increased commercial engagement, enhanced cultural exchange, and a renewed commitment to working together for the benefit of our peoples.
President Mahama's 4-day state visit ends on August 5. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is expected to have a similar state visit to Ghana for its 70th independence celebrations in March 2027. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the parliamentary opposition has described the state visit by President Mahama and the Ghanaian delegation as a full-circle moment for both countries. Senator Donna Scott Motley, who represented opposition leader Mark Golding, says the country is looking to the Global Advisory Council for Reparatory Justice, established and chaired by Ghana, on how it advances the discussions on slavery. The Prime Ministers of Jamaica, Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines also sit on the council. Senator Scott Motley argues even while those discussions are underway, Jamaica's final appellate court, the Privy Council in the UK, remains an unresolved issue.
May we find the courage to complete our own journey from monarchy to republic and to embrace the Caribbean Court of Justice. For if we are serious about reclaiming our history, asserting our sovereignty, and shaping our own future, then surely we must have the courage to do so fully.
Jamaica's Constitutional Reform Committee, established in 2023, was to provide a roadmap on how the country will transition to a republic. But the committee, which has members of both political parties as well as civil society, has been at loggerheads over the ability to agree to a phased reform process. And with days to go until Jamaica celebrates its 64th independence, Senator Scott Motley, who sits on the committee, says it has been disappointing.
The journey from Africa to the Caribbean did not end with emancipation or independence. It continues in the work of building nations that are fully sovereign, confident in their identity, and masters of their own destiny.
The government has announced that it will hold an official memorial service for former cabinet minister and member of parliament Dean Peart. The veteran politician, who served for decades in public life, represented Northwest Manchester, served as mayor of Mandeville, and held several key cabinet portfolios, including Labour, local government, environment, and lands. The Peart family will host his funeral on Wednesday at the Kendall Conference Centre in Manchester, starting at 11 a.m. and details of the government's official memorial service will be announced later.
The Electoral Commission of Jamaica, ECJ, is urging 3 municipal corporations to move quickly to fill vacant councillor positions. In a statement, the commission says it has written to the mayors of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Thomas and Westmoreland, reminding them that the law requires by-elections to be held within about 3 months of a vacancy arising. The ECJ says those by-elections are now overdue and has warned that the municipal corporations may be in breach of the Representation of the People Act. In the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the Maxfield Park and Seabright Gardens Division are without sitting councillors. The Morant Bay Division in St. Thomas and Petersfield Division in Westmoreland also have vacant seats. The Commission says it's ready to conduct the polls as soon as it receives the necessary directions from the relevant local authorities. And coming up in this newscast, Ukraine accuses Russia of war crime over drone attack. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, continuing the news. The videographer who was dragged while on stage by recording artist Elephant Man on the weekend is considering his legal options after suffering what his attorneys describe as considerable embarrassment and damage to his equipment. The attorneys representing Dario Shields have called upon the entertainer to issue a full public apology for his conduct and derogatory remarks made.
What was supposed to be a memorable performance from Elephant Man at Dream Weekend on Saturday has turned out to be just that, but for the wrong reason. Days after this video showing the dancehall entertainer pushing a videographer on stage during his performance in Montego Bay, Dario Shields, the man at the center of the incident, is speaking out.
The night in question, I was on stage doing some recording of the artist, and out of nowhere, he just decided to, well, you saw the video.
The video has led to widespread criticisms from many Jamaicans who've blasted the entertainer, labeling his actions as unacceptable and demanded that he issued an apology. Elephant Man, whose given name is O'Neil Bryan, took to social media on Monday to address the issue.
No disrespect never meant to be taken. No disrespect to the cameraman. I apologize to him a million times. When him get up and him went back side of soup pipe right where the DJ booth was, I stopped the show and I said, cameraman, I apologize.
Hold on. Me done. Now follow me, boy, you're broken up. Don't go so. Big up yourselves. No disrespect. We just entertain the people.
However, Mr. Shields sees things differently.
I saw a video that said that I was given a video. I was given an apology on stage. That's not an apology in my book, you know. And it was also said that it was off stage since that incident happened, that people see in that video. I've never had a face-to-face with anyone from the gentleman's management team.
And so, what's next?
The situation right now, I can't really speak too much about it, as my legal team will be making an official statement regarding it.
In a letter issued on Tuesday by law firm Knight, Jr. and Samuels on behalf of Dario Shields, the firm described the incident as wholly unacceptable. It further claimed that the incident caused Shields considerable embarrassment and emotional distress. It added that no individual, regardless of their perceived status or public profile, is above the law, noting that no formal apology has been received by their client, despite public claims by Mr. Bryan that an apology has been offered. The letter called upon the entertainer to issue a full public and unequivocal apology for his conduct and the derogatory remarks made. The attorneys say such an apology would acknowledge the indignity suffered by their client and reaffirm that respect ought to be offered to professionals working within Jamaica's entertainment industry. The videographer, who's been working with the Dream Weekend entertainment team for over 3 years, says he's heartened by the level of support he's been receiving since the incident.
Because I believe you should stand up for people who don't have a voice for themselves, you know? And that's naturally been who I have been. You know, for anybody who know Dario Shields, you know, say that's me. You get me, I So, I mean, I appreciate everyone, and I believe that we should all stand up for injustice.
With conflicting accounts now on record and legal options being explored, the incident appears to be far from over. Now, it's left to be seen how things will unfold. It's time now for the responses from our friends on Facebook and X to this question. What do you look forward to most during the independence celebrations and why? Our first comment comes from Audrey, who says, I just love seeing the Jamaican colors. That alone gives me goosebumps. We have another comment from Audley Phillip, who says, I really love the Grand Gala, which features amazing music, colorful costumes, fireworks, and drone shows that reflects the true creative power of Jamaica. Another one from Alberta, who says, to see Jamaica displaying traits of being truly independent. Apart from that wish, I love to see the colors and the rich display of our culture at the Grand Gala. We have another comment from Warren, who says, anything which exhibits what true independence should have been, upward mobility and a higher quality of life for all Jamaicans. We have another comment from Dion, who says, Jamaicans dressed in the colors of the country's flag, as well as important aspects of our culture on full display to the world. National competitions like Festival Song, Festival Queen, Gospel Festival, celebrations like Emancipation Vigil, Grand Gala. It make me feel proud bad. Now keep those comments coming to this question. What do you look forward to most during the independence celebrations and why? Now please stay with us. The Business Day and News from Overseas are after the break.